Welcome to Why Don't We Dress for Dinner Anymore? But before we start, Melissa and I would like you to hear a message from our sponsor, Lux MB. All right, ladies, if you ever wished your ride could feel like a safe space, a confidence boost, a luxury reset, and a concierge service all in one, listen up. LXMV, pronounced Lux MV, is Chicago's first ever woman founded luxury chauffeur and concierge service created exclusively for women in the LGBTQ plus community who deserve to move through the city with dignity, care, and emotional safety. Founded by Renata Medina, a former corporate executive turned chief experience officer, LuxMB was born from a powerful truth. We shouldn't have to sacrifice safety or softness to move through the world with strength. This isn't Uber Black, this is a sanctuary on wheels. Every ride includes a woman veteran chauffeur, mood lighting, personalized music, calming aromatherapy, luxury refreshments, and concierge level care tailored to your emotional and physical well being. Need glam essentials before a shoot, a curated wellness kit before an event, signature snacks or florals for a creative reset ride, time sensitive errands or concierge pickup while you prepare for a show or board a flight. LuxMV handles it, sourcing everything exclusively from local women owned and LGBTQ vendors, never from big box retailers. So when you ride LuxMV, you're not just being driven, you are being restored, supported, and poured into, while also circulating love, income, and visibility back into our community. You can follow the movement at LXMB underscore Chicago, and trust me when I say this is a brand you're going to feel as much as you see. So when you hear Lux MV, know this. It's not just a ride, it's a moving reminder that we don't have to shrink to feel safe. We can rise, be seen, feel held, and still arrive in absolute luxury. Lux MV, where luxury meets healing in motion.
Welcome to Why Don't We Dress for Dinner Anymore with our host, Wonder in a Wrap Dress, Teddy Brockman.
And my co-host, Melissa Pierce, natural redhead and member of Mensa.
It's true. It's all true.
Love it.
We have a fabulous guest, a personal friend of mine, Katie DeLuna. Katie is a Chicago-based freelance fashion stylist with a degree in fashion merchandising. She frequently collaborates with Chicago hair and makeup artists, photographers, and designers to bring bold, imaginative concepts to life. We want to talk more to Katie, so welcome to our show today, Katie.
Hi, so nice to see you. Teddy and I, we go back, and I'm really grateful to be here.
Yeah.
And speaking of Chicago, promoting Chicago people, I'm wearing Niet jewelry, and she's based out of Chicago. I got my signature.
You.
Yes, Delphine, and her bracelet.
Yeah.
And these are from Nishka, the sunglasses that I wear.
I didn't know she had accessories like that.
That's what when I go to her shop, I get a little overwhelmed and I might spend a little too much money. Huh. So that's when I found out that she had accessories. And then this is from Indie Vin, and her name is Steph Nugent, and she does a lot of upcycling. So I don't know if you could tell, but this vest.
That's a butterfly.
It's opposite. It's an opposite. Like this is actually the bottom. This is the bottom the top.
The top of jeans. Yeah.
The top of jeans, and she made it into a vest. And so she's one of my she's one of my new favorites, and she's based out of Indianapolis, hence the name Indie. But try people in Chicago, Chicagoland. Indie Vin.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Is she online? Does she sell her stuff online?
Oh yeah. Well, she's trying to set up her store, but she's at a lot of pop-up markets all over the city. So if you follow her on Instagram, you'll see her.
Okay, great. Well, that's fabulous. I love it. You always have such an eclectic wardrobe, Katie. You're always
Right.
You are.
Look, Katie is in the know of all the new hot designers. We heard it here first. We need to get we need to just talk to Katie every day.
Yeah.
Who'd you hear of? What do you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do a Katie episode.
We're like a Katie update. Katie, what do you know?
Katie, what's the update this week? We should do a Katie spot.
Yeah, Katie spot.
Well, speaking of Katie, and you know what? I just realized, Katie, today our hair kind of mirrors each other.
Oh yeah.
Of course, mine's a wig.
Well, I need to get some wigs. I need to learn how to do that. But, we vibe though, Teddy. We vibe. Yeah. Like we're on the same level. We vibe. Like,
we tend to blend a lot of times. I don't know what that's about. We're on the same wavelength, I think. But I read something very interesting about you. You had said that music was a major source of your inspiration in styling.
What?
So, So could you tell us a little bit more about that, Katie? How does music inspire the way you dress, the way you style other people? Tell us a little bit how that comes into play.
Yeah, so I grew up around music. My dad's a musician, so I grew up a lot around Motown, the Beatles, Rolling Stone, classic rock, all of that stuff. And he's been in a band since he was in high school. My dad's he's in his mid to late 70s. So and then I have an older brother and sister. So my brother's 12 years older than me, and he got me into a lot of 80s music, a lot of new wave and stuff like that. And my sister as well, she's 4 years older than me. And then we always had music playing in our house. So it was just always a thing. My dad would be working on his car in his garage, and we'd be out having picnics, and it was always around the house. So fashion and music, in my opinion, really are hand in hand, because when you think about creativity, it's art, it's fashion, it's music, there's so many things. It's being an author, being, a painter, graphic designer, they all kind of correlate. And growing up with all different types of music, and then even growing up, I'm a millennial, so I was born in 83. So I had a lot of influence with 90s hip hop and grunge and, ska and punk, No Doubt, love Depeche Mode, so many different things. So when I dress myself, I'm thinking, okay, what am I listening to right now? What inspires me? What about these lyrics? What about the tempo of the song or the harmonies? How does that make me feel inside? And I try to incorporate that when I style myself, but I also get very inspired when I'm on shoots. When I'm on set, I always have to have music on, and that kind of gets me going in every single way. So I just love music. If it wasn't for music, if I wasn't doing styling, I'd probably be doing something in music.
So you just have the artist kind of heart. You need to create.
Yeah.
You kind of, and your style is edgy and eclectic, I would say. So you kind of have that rock vibe going. Even the way you're dressed today, it's very kind of rock to me. You got the rubber jewelry, you got the jean, upcycled top,
That's right. You got that real dynamic, edgy haircut.
Yeah.
I appreciate. Yeah, I don't know if you could see, but I have a little sparkle diamond on
That's right.
Had to point that out. But
you got a little diva on you.
See that, Katie? Move your face a little bit closer. Let me see you. Let me see the sparkle. Oh yeah. Very cute. I love those. I was gonna say, this is too funny. I was just about to say, and I love those earrings, and I realized they're your earpods. I love those earrings. No. Even your earrings
maybe
go with your outfit.
No, I dress the way. Some days I'll be like this. Right now, I'm also wearing Indie Vin barrel pants that she upcycled. But depending on what I'm wearing, I could be wearing something androgynous or, maybe more feminine.
Yeah.
In a gown. But I would say my overall style is more of a rock and roll.
Yeah. You have a very kind of, I would say, if I were to have to describe her, I'd say it's very kind of edgy. You kind of have a little bit of edge going kind of a thing. So your dad is a musician. Just for what's the name of his band?
So his band is called Indiana, but he's had many different names like
Oh,
throughout, he was in a band in high school called the Aztecs. My dad's Mexican, and so
okay.
like back then, yeah, they had a band called the Aztecs. Fun fact about my dad, they this band in Japan found my dad's record that he wrote. He wrote this like kind of punk song back in the
Really?
60s, and they bought his album and they recorded the song, and it's
Yeah.
now like by a Japanese, like this happened like 5 years ago. Like,
Really?
yeah, he wrote a punk song like back when punk wasn't
I
even
didn't even think there was punk in the 60s.
no, and it was he was like screaming, like he was yeah, crazy.
That's really. Did he make any money from that? Did it sell well?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah. I'm so pissed because I thought, you
but
know
the
what,
fact
Dad,
that they
maybe I'm
found him.
jealous. I'm like, you need me to be your manager. Like I need to.
Stylist and manager,
Oh,
Katie
right.
Baluna.
Right. But he's like,
But
I'm not playing it for the money. He's playing it for the heart. Is that what he's telling you?
he is,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's just at the end of the day, like when I saw the Japanese artist play it, I'm like, that's my dad's song. Like they did a good job.
That's so cool. That's very,
Yeah.
very cool.
Well, I know,
Yeah.
my friend, that you've been showcased in Imbued Fashion Magazine, which, for those of you who are not familiar yet with Imbued, it's a Chicago digital fashion magazine. You can buy the hard copy, but that's a little hard to source. It's a little
Yeah.
hard to
Yeah.
get, but it tends to be more digital, Imbued. And you were also in a magazine called Boo.
Yes.
So, can you tell us a little bit about your styling process when you're doing an editorial piece? Do you
Yeah.
do you come up with the concept, and or does the magazine tell you what they want and you kind of fit the clothes to the model? I mean, I don't even know what the style, and I think most people don't. What is the styling process for an editorial piece? Does the magazine give you the clothes and say, we want you to style this on the model? Do you come up with the whole look yourself? Kind of take us through the process
Yeah,
of,
or they're just like, here's the theme. Good
yeah,
luck.
I don't know how do you even, how do you start?
Because you're shaking your head. Is that really it? Here's the theme. Good luck.
It's it's um it's an interesting process. I'll tell you. It says, okay, this is the theme that we're going for. So if you can match the color scheme, the kind of the concept for it. Um, but I was the stylist, and I was basically connecting the photographer, getting the hair and makeup people, getting the model, and I creative direct a lot of the project. So even though it was her vision, like I'm very involved in like the outcome of it, like how the model is posing, or um, like so about sourcing clothes, they call, I don't know if you know this, but when you source clothes, you call them pulls. So
Yeah.
you're pulling clothes from them. So yeah, a lot of the times I have to find designers, and I try to use as many Chicago designers as I can. But yeah, pulling the clothes, and there's always a pull fee, and like buying clothes that I may never wear again or hopefully use on another shoot. So it just really depends, but a lot of the costs, especially in Chicago, fall on the stylist, because we're the ones that have to provide that. And usually the move, like the 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 mood board or the vision board. So it can be really difficult when, there's a concept in mind from, for a magazine, and depending on the budget, which is again, like usually there's no budget. Everyone wants to collaborate here, which I'm hoping will change soon. Um, a lot of those costs come out of my pocket. So
Right. And not all of those you were able to recoup. Is that right? Some of them you
yeah,
got to.
So what
yeah.
in particular, can you tell what cost would come out of your pocket? Like, what would you end
Um,
up buying? Like,
so a lot of, well, the clothes, The pulls
Buy the clothes?
Well, some of them are not returnable. Some pulls you can return and some pulls you can. Right. Well,
So
how long
I'm
have you
paying
been
for
styling? How long have you been styling?
about 3 years.
Okay. So this is like in a stylist career, this is kind of on the new side.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So okay.
So
that makes sense.
you are buying clothes to feature in somebody else's magazine.
Mhm.
I find that that's totally unfair. I'm sorry. That is not right, Katie. This is not right.
So, well, and that's not it. So then it's returning the clothes, and I don't have a car, so I have to make sure that they're dry cleaned. And so when I do have pulls from designers, because you know me, I'd love to showcase all of Chicago and
Yeah.
Chicago designers. So I make sure that they're in tip-top shape. So I have to go get an Uber or taxi to the stores, each store, make sure everything looks good, come back, put it on everyone, then take it back and make sure and also pay for the dry cleaning and all of that. Um, depending on what the contract is between the designer that I'm working with.
So let
And then
me
my
ask you this.
time.
If I can ask you this, hopefully it's not too intrusive, but I think there's a lot of budding stylists out there because you and I were both at Rachel's Stylist
Mhm,
Symposium during Chicago Fashion Week,
mhm.
and you saw the place was packed with very many young people who are like aspiring stylists. So this would be very important for them to know just about the business of a stylist. So, for example, you're styling an editorial piece for a magazine. You have a contract. I would assume that they're going to pay you a certain amount of money for your styling services, right? For the editorial piece.
It's a collaboration.
Is that true,
They
Kate?
call them collaboration. Yeah, so they call them collaborations, and when it's a collaboration, it's unpaid.
It's unpaid, and now you're out of pocket Ubering and cleaning and all that other stuff. Wowee. That alone, I'm sorry, that alone right there would turn me off.
Right.
I say to them, wait a minute, I'm providing you with a service and I have to pay for this out of my pocket. Hasta la vista, baby. I'm sorry. I would not.
You have to build your portfolio.
You do have to build your portfolio. And how many years do typical stylists have to build their portfolio before, or like how many styling gigs do you have to take on before you're like, my portfolio is big enough and I feel like this is now I'm worth paid work?
So over the past year, I feel like I've really stepped up my game. I've been seen like on WGN. I've been now on your podcast. I have an 8-page spread and viewed, and I've done other editorial work. I did editorial work for Suebi, and I did that. I was on the cover and had full control. I was a creative director and stylist on that, among a bunch of other things too. So when we were at the stylist symposium with Rachel J.
Yeah.
His name was Josh. He's from Sovereign.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that was speaking.
The guy in the middle with wearing all black.
Oh yeah, I knew. I was like, that dude is like my kind of
Yeah,
guy.
he was.
So
I loved his outfit. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, we're gonna vibe. So he was leaving. I stopped him and I said, hey, you have so much experience, and it seems like like you are going down a career path that I really want to be in. And so he said, yeah, let's connect. I haven't connected with him yet. It's only been a week.
Yeah.
But I did send him a message and he replied. So it's just like finding those right connections. And he says it took him about 6 years to really build up some trust with people. But just networking in general, I think is super important because like I'm the type of person, as you know, I just go. And I'm not shy to talk. And it's, if the more knowledge, the more power. But I am at that point where it's like, okay, I'm losing money.
Right.
Doing something I love. So it's like, the struggling artist kind of situation.
Well, there is some of that. And then some of it is like, how much of this can I write off? And like, am I running this business in the correct way? And like how much of this, where can I make my money and all of those things. But also an 8-page spread in a local magazine is no small feat.
Thank you.
Now,
yeah,
and
that was
now
really
I mean, I'm very proud of you. That's a big thing.
I'm just concerned that I'm paying you, Katie. That's not right. That's not right, Katie. But in some ways, and I know it's mainly more modeling, but now that I'm hearing stylists are paying out of pocket too, the influencers are doing a lot of stuff that models used to do for free. Like, for example, today we did a little segment that we call Style It or Pilot, where we bring something out of our closet and the other person gives their opinion on should we style it up and make it look a little different and keep it, or should we throw it in the pile kind of thing. And one of the dresses I showed was a dress that was given to me for free as long as I modeled it on Instagram. And it was early on when I was in Instagram. So it was just a collab where they would send me the free product. Now, it was a $300 dress, so it wasn't an inexpensive dress, but I didn't get paid for it. And I think that might be impinging a little bit on what the stylists do too, because if you're an influencer who is showing people how to style things up, you might get noticed a little bit more than maybe, let's say, a behind the scenes stylist. And so because people can send that person on Instagram the stuff and they can do the thing for free, therefore brings down the cost of your services too. So it could be that the onslaught of social media has reduced, because I remember now, do you remember this? This was kind of a while ago. It was a show on Bravo called The Rachel Zoe Project. Did you ever watch that, Katie?
oh yeah. I used to love her.
Yeah. And I would think to myself, oh, wow, this woman's making millions of dollars and she's styling all these movie stars.
They can,
these racks of clothes that designers just sent to her. There was an episode I remember where she actually, Karl Lagerfeld had sent her a dress from Chanel, right? And Rachel Zoe actually restyled it for him because it was like a one sleeve, it was like one long sleeve and one like sleeveless. And so she had the sleeve removed. She actually sent the instructions to the designer. I want the sleeve removed. I want this changed over here. She actually changed the style of Karl Lagerfeld's design, and he was like okay with it. So I'm thinking, wow. Stylists are so popular and powerful, and look at all the things that they get for free to try on their clients. And you're telling me that a lot of their cost is out of pocket.
I've done so many like editorial pieces that they're just collaborations where people have asked me, photographers in particular, hey, are you available to do this type of shoot for just for whatever. I'm not going to say who or whatever, but there's a lot, I get approached a lot, and I'm not going to say no to an opportunity. But it could be very difficult. And to your point, Melissa, about like write-offs and things, like I'm working towards getting my actual LLC because I need to be able to start writing these off.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if you know Diane Ruiz. I think Diane Ruiz. She you know her. She's helping me kind of like figure that side of like the business side out, like because I do
an accountant. Diane's
exactly
got financial experience.
Absolutely. Even every artist needs a good like business manager or just business accountant. Just someone to set that up for them.
Well, we're going to be on the campaign for Kate to get paid from now.
Right. When do you think? When do you think you're gonna be like, you know what? That's enough collaborations. I think it's time. When do you think that turnover is for stylists? You just went to the stylist symposium. You did this 8-page spread. You're getting there. When do you think that tips for you?
Well, I will say too, when I got on the cover of Vogue magazine, the French one, and that was my really my first editorial shoot, and that's when I knew this is my calling and I'm not giving up. And it was like the best day because I got to choose. It was all Swady. It was so amazing. That's how we became such close friends. This is something, it's so interesting because I always knew I loved fashion, and I know I'm kind of like sidetracking this, but I didn't know back in when I was in college, like back in like the early 2000s, styling wasn't an option at school. Like, I didn't know that there were celebrity stylists. I didn't know that that was a thing. I just knew I liked dressing up. Um, and like, and I love the music, and I liked collaborating the two. I mean, I had a mohawk. I mean, I also had all different faces. Okay, you guys.
Oh, we need. You got to send pictures. We need to see. Okay.
I'll find some.
Fine. Keep going.
I went back to school a couple of years ago just to get some creativity back. I was like, I'm not fulfilled. There's just something missing. And so I always knew styling was like, I always knew fashion was going to be a part of my life ever since I was little. I'd be playing with my makeup. I'd be doing my makeup at my grandma's house, sitting on there and, you know, wearing my mom's heels and mixing and matching from thrift stores. We didn't have a lot of money growing up. So, you know, we would go to Goodwill or we'd go to this, you know, all different places to try to find cool stuff from like the 70s and like things like that. And so, when I went to Columbia College, they just they threw me in here, and they didn't really seem to have like good counselors that pointed me in the right direction. And so I didn't know what to do after that. I did an internship at Saks Fifth Avenue, in New York. Um, I was a men's accessory manager at the flagship store, and I thought, this is what my life is gonna be like. This sucks. Like, I don't want to do this. You know, like, where is the creativity in here? I mean, being in New York at the age of 20 was pretty badass. I'll say that. Like, that was really fun. But I mean, there were just days I would just cry in the stock room. Although I met a lot of celebrities, so that was, it has its pros and cons. But as far as like my career in fashion, I just thought, this is not what I thought I wanted to do. So then I started working in at a music company. It was kind of like Napster at the time, so that was really cool because I can go. They would let me go into work wearing like whatever crazy thing I wanted to wear, and I could listen. The whole building would be playing music all the time, and I was like, this is cool. And then I got into technology, long story short, and that's been my career for the past like 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
But again, going back to school at Columbia, I went back a couple of years ago to let out some of that creative energy. And that's when I got in touch with Rachel J. Penka from Rachel J. Styling. And she was my mentor. So like I still talk to her frequently. And she said, you know, you could be a personal stylist, or, you know, there's all different, you know, there's costume, sorry for the noises. Yeah, there's costumes for movies and this and that, and I had no idea. So at first I thought I wanted to do personal styling, and then I thought, I don't really want to dress anyone else. Like, I mean, I will. I mean, I know what looks good on you, but that's not really like, I tried that out, and I just thought, man, and then retaining the clients, that's hard, you know, getting those clients. And then when I did the editorial shoot, my first one, I thought, oh man, like I can do this. I could be the creative director. I could be the stylist. I was writing project plans, like almost like, because I am in technology and I have a leadership type of role, I would say. I'm very organized and driven in that way to make sure everything is the same way. And I love collaborating with people. I love working with people because they inspire me. So I try to surround myself with people who are on the same wavelength as me. So I play the music. I'm just like, hey, if you have an idea for like a movement, like try it out. Worst thing that can happen is that we don't use that shoot, you know? So that's kind of a long story.
Yeah.
Long story short.
Well, I think it's very interesting, and it's great for aspiring stylists to hear this coming from someone who has worked now in the industry for about 3-4 years, the reality of it. Because like I said, you see only the glamour, like the Rachel Zoe project. I used to watch it over and over again just because I loved to see her, you know, dressing people up and all that kind of stuff. And she had this very glamorous lifestyle. But people get the wrong idea about what it really takes.
Yeah.
And all the work and how many hours and personal sacrifice it takes just to be a paid stylist.
Right.
It's not an easy road. And that's why, and that's the case, I think, in the fashion industry overall. I would say since I began to meet and know people in the fashion industry in the last couple of years, I would say probably more than 50% of them have full-time other jobs and do the fashion stuff because they can't make a living at it,
Right.
and that's true for a lot of stylists. You're not the only stylist I know who has a full-time
Oh,
pay the job kind of a thing and then does fabulous styling and editorial stuff, part-time. But I think people need to know the reality of how hard it really is to make a full-time living, whether you're modeling, photographer. I know a fabulous photographer. He's photographed me twice now. He is so talented. But you know what he does for a full-time living? He works for the IRS. So he's a
yeah.
fabulous fashion photographer, but his full-time job is working for the IRS.
I feel like those stories are so much more interesting than the people who do things full-time. Honestly, people who do things out of the passion in their heart and like they won't give up on their dreams. I think that's
but I think
that's
that people need to know the reality of that too.
And they do.
It's hard.
And hearing you say, you know what, I went through these different kinds of styling and I realized that I don't want to be a personal stylist, that actually the keeping up with clients and retaining clients wasn't for me, but this other kind of styling made me come alive. That's good for people to hear that there are all of these different ways that you can do this work.
There's options for sure.
Yeah. And I agree about like getting because it's not just the buying and the pulling of the clothes, it's the time spent and the fittings. And sometimes I'm paying for the model or people to come, like I'm paying their bills, like not their bills, but let's say an Uber to get to a location that's easy for them, and I'm grateful I could do that. But at a certain point, it's like, I do worry that maybe this isn't, maybe I'm never going to get paid, but I'm manifesting it that it's going to happen one day soon.
I think you will because you're so fabulous and passionate about what you do. So I think you will eventually. But yeah, I think it can be an unfair business in a lot of ways too, unfortunately.
Yeah. And that's art.
Yeah. And that is the life of an artist. Look at Van Gogh. Van Gogh in his lifetime only sold one painting. And now one of his paintings goes for millions of dollars. Now hopefully, Katie, you don't have to wait till you drop dead.
Well, that's
I don't know, send the checks to your family. Here's for Katie's styling.
You know what? Actually, I take that back. You know what? That's not art. That's capitalism. You know what? That's capitalism.
That's called getting paid.
Yeah, it's getting paid is different. So, Katie, your personal style is super eclectic. Do you have a favorite era of fashion?
It's a combination of 80s and like I love streetwear. Okay. So like 90s hip hop and 80s music. So like I like to incorporate to me like this reminds me of like the 80s.
Yeah.
And like so like I love the 80s. I love 80s music. And then like as you've seen probably before, like I wear a lot of baggy jeans, or I might wear something dressy on top and then wear some like baggy jeans with a heel, or so just like incorporating the styles together. And I think so those two eras, and like being in the 2000s, like please no low rise. I don't want the low rise again. I don't want.
You don't want your thong showing out of your pants.
Oh my god, that was so gross.
Wasn't that bad?
Oh my god. But anyway, I think it's important for people to know that you can go back in time and rewear stuff in a way that you can mix eras together, and make it cohesive. And that's yeah, like a lot of people might think, oh, this is so old, or this, this isn't going to go with that. But if you know, which a lot of people just don't have that skill,
Right.
they just don't know how to do it. But fortunately for me, I think that's probably why I stand out sometimes to people, is because I don't have like you never really know what you're going to get from me,
No.
kind of thing.
No, your weird is not predictable. Couldn't say, oh, this is this kind of event. Katie will probably show up in this type of a dress or whatever. I can never
Yeah,
guess what you're gonna wear, which is
yeah,
fun, which is really cool. And it's also what I call, you have the eye,
Yeah.
so you can see things that your average person who really doesn't know how to put things together. You can see how the different eras kind of meld together. Like even the pieces that you have on of Delphine's right now. Delphine's rubber collection is very
yeah.
Madonna-ish. It reminds me very much of
Oh, yeah.
Madonna kind of jewelry, where remember Madonna used to pile all the bangles on.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I a lot of times wear it like that too.
Copy that look from you, actually, because I have one of Delphine's rubber bracelets
I
too.
saw that.
And I saw Katie wear it
Bracelet?
like that. And I thought, I have that rubber bracelet and black. I'm going to wear it around my armband like Katie did, because my upper arms are so tiny that a lot of times I can't find things that'll stay up there. They slide down. So
Yeah, and my
Delphine's,
wrist is tiny, so I'm like, okay, I want to put this up there because
yeah.
it
So
just
that's like
it
a
looks.
perfect, and that looks so darling like that, the little
Thank
chain
you.
around. Yeah. So I actually
Yeah.
took that from you. I actually copied it from
Oh.
Well, that's flattering to me. When I was in high school, there used to be this girl who she would always copy what I wore, and I was just so pissed. Man, this is me. Why are you trying to
you.
dress like
Right.
me? But like
Don't be me.
now, but
Yeah.
now it's so I love it. I love when I inspire people to wear something that makes them feel good. Like that's the
Yeah.
best feeling of all.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Imitation is the best form of flattery. That is
Well,
that is
not when you're
how it goes.
16.
Yeah.
Well, no, when you're 16, no, that's a big deal.
Right.
That's
Or not when it gets to the point of being creepy where the person's trying to be you.
yes. Well, that's not that's
That's
usurp.
another story
That
that we
is
won't
yeah.
talk about right now.
Oh.
But it is flattering when somebody sees something that you have and says, "Oh,
Uh,
Yeah, and that's like that's the joy of dressing up. Katie, why do you think people don't dress up anymore? Why have we become so casual? Because not everyone has that joy. They don't come alive when they dress up anymore. What happened?
so for me, I don't know exactly like where it started, and I think it probably started before COVID. But I
Hmm.
think COVID had a big part of that because people were staying at home and people were working from home and they could just wear whatever they wanted. Um, and so a lot of that just became like very mundane and very much like I don't care anymore. I'm depressed probably because a lot of people were scared. And they just probably, without even realizing it, just let themselves go. And I would say that even for someone like myself, I didn't feel like dressing up, you know. And it was once we were able to start getting out again, I actually was very uncomfortable with my body. Um, and I've had a lot of, this is kind of out of like not a lot of people know this, but I've had disordered eating in my past.
oh,
So a lot of body image, body dysmorphia, things going on. So I think society, like especially with social media now more than ever,
mhm.
is like showcasing like you have to look perfect in this,
Mm,
and then people also they don't know necessarily like it doesn't matter what size you are because if you know how to wear something what fits you well, that can completely change your life. And you could think, oh, I'm too tiny for this, or I'm too big of a hips here, or whatever. Tailoring is key. And I think once a person realizes that, who cares if you spent $20 on a cheap pair of jeans? If they fit you in the right spot, tailor them and they're going to fit you perfect. You don't have to spend a lot of money on that. But I think it's just the fact that people are comfortable within their own skin most of the time. They just, I'll just put this on. Everyone needs to wear clothes. Like that's a necessity. So I think that's kind of like part of it.
Okay, so you're saying it started happening before COVID. COVID, we got really casual, but because during COVID, everyone did the Instagram showcasing, so nothing was real.
Yes.
That like showing up after that was a lot harder for a lot of people, so they just stopped showing up. That's kind of encapsulating what you just said. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I feel like, and then it went to like like the complete extreme of like, you know, being overexposed again. And it's like everyone wants to be on it, everyone wants to be seen, but then everything's like photoshopped, or you don't even know it's real anymore because of AI. And the average everyday person, probably doesn't know how to put clothes on their body that make them feel comfortable. So they say, well, I'm just going to show up in this, and, then that's it. And then also, I think that people are afraid of dressing up because they may think that other people might judge them for looking too nice. And I think so. And that's kind of, I think that's, I don't know if you've ever thought about that, but
yes. Yeah. I get that. I get that when I'm invited out, my friends will be like, Melissa, this doesn't mean you have to actually dress like a peacock. So, so I do get that people are afraid that they will stand out too much, which is wild.
I know.
Which is also wild. Yeah.
It is wild. And I think you should wear, and this is like my philosophy, I wear what I want whenever I want to. And that's because probably because I know what looks good, and I like compliments. Like I'm very much like a words of affirmation kind of thing. But also I take myself as a modest person and very like empathetic. And when I see someone on the street that, or let's say someone at Walgreens, and I see that they did their nails really nice, and they have a pretty necklace, like take the time to tell that person, you look I really like that. That's really nice. Because what's the worst that could happen? They just forget about it. And the best that could happen is maybe they had a really terrible day, and that made them feel good that they took the effort to put some thought into that.
That's so true, Katie. I can't tell you how many times, I've had people come up to me, complete strangers come up to me and say, "Oh, I really love the way you look," or "I love your outfit," or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, maybe it was a really shitty day and I'm at the Walgreens picking up a chapstick or something like that. And just a few kind words to lifts your spirit. So true to that, I try to do the same thing. If I see somebody's put some effort and has something really cute on, doesn't matter if I know them or not, I'll say, that looks really cute on you. Just wanted to let you know. Because everybody likes a compliment,
It's true. Whether they say it or do, or they act like they don't, they do deep down.
Absolutely. Everybody loves a compliment, and it does lift somebody's spirit, even if it's just for a second. And like you said, you don't know, it might have been a day when that person, everything seemed to go wrong. And then you just said something nice to somebody. And for that few seconds, their mood got lifted, maybe gave them a little bit more confidence too. So I think we should all be mindful of that, because I think it's important to acknowledge when you see that somebody's put forward the effort to let them know you think they look good, you think they look sharp, the necklace is cute, your outfit is cute, you look really fabulous today, it really does.
By the way, you guys do look fabulous. And also, I think people don't, I think there's something to be said about just general overall kindness. I think if we can all just be kind to people, the world would be such a better place, instead of shaming people for so many different things. And not just in the fashion industry, but everywhere.
Everywhere. Absolutely. And I think to the point that, some people just don't want to stand out, or they don't want to be noticed. I don't think it's that people don't want to stand out or don't want to be noticed. I think that they're afraid that they'll be judged. And
Absolutely.
that's why they want to blend in. I would rather, so we're going back to the person's mind, I would rather blend in than be judged. And if we were all a little kinder to each other, we would compliment each other more, boost each other, uplift each other more, so that people would feel more comfortable in coming out of their shells and expressing themselves, whether it's through fashion or whatever. Because the other thing that I've noticed, even coming out of COVID, is that, you and I, we go to a lot of social events, for fashion and things like that. And I've noticed that there's a lot of people who they're comfortable talking to you for like a minute or two. But then after like a minute or two, it's like, oh, well, I got to run over here or I got to go. And it's almost like I need to get out of this conversation because I don't know if I can talk for any longer than this, or I don't know if I want to talk. It's like a discomfort with conversation. And that's why I've kind of given up a little bit on the mixers, because it's just like people flit around and say, hi, how are you? You look great or fabulous. And then they walk on to the next person. Well, let's take a picture or whatever. But you don't really get to know anybody. It's like I superficially know tons of people, but I really know very few people or anything really about these people other than I've seen them at 15 fashion events.
So I used to have this button. I gave it away, but I used to have this button for tech events that said, don't approach me if all you want is small talk. I'm only interested in big talk.
Yeah.
A really big
Ooh.
button.
I like that.
Big talk. I'm interested in deep conversation.
Yeah.
Like, you want to have
meaningful.
a conversation? Let's do it. You want to sit down? I'm interested in meeting like about 7 people at this entire conference.
Yeah.
Because I need to have a deep conversation.
Yeah.
Like that's it's probably it's a lost skill, but but there's something else there. And we could spend a whole nother hour talking about this, and we need to wrap up your interview.
Yeah, but I think it is. It does tie in with COVID. I think the whole, like Katie was saying, body image and feeling like, you're going to be judged and all that kind of stuff. That also fits in with conversation. When people start to get uncomfortable, like, I don't know how much more of myself I should reveal to this person. I'll flit on to the next person. So I think it's really a whole big picture of not only dressing to fit in the background because you don't want to be judged, but even approaching or talking to people. Well,
it is a vulnerability. It's a showing your humanness again after some time of not having to be a flesh and blood creature.
Right.
You got to be a digital creature for 2 years.
Yeah.
And then
that's another thing.
Real creature.
Well, and I think, and I know we're wrapping up, but I think it's important too, where people are seen and want to be seen. So there is a lot of superficial network, like a lot of the networking events. And I've learned that early on, and I had to take a break. Yeah. And now I'm very selective and intentional on what I attend, because it's like, oh, here's a picture. And I've loved taking pictures with new people and meeting them. That's fine. But at the end of the day, like, I end up talking to the same person because I'm not getting an actual, like, I can usually tell right away when someone is going to be intriguing and I might connect,
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. I'm being more selective on where I'm going. I'm not so much into the mixer scene because it's a bunch of noise and people coming in left and right, and I don't even remember 90% of their names,
Same.
Like, hi, Val. Hi, sweetheart, because I don't know even their names, because they haven't sat in front of me long enough for me to like get a visual of them,
I know.
So I think it all fits in. So when we say that, people don't want to be seen, I think it's because fear of judgment, because people love a compliment, Katie, and I agree with you. You go up to somebody and just, I love those jeans, or, oh, you look so nice, or whatever. That goes a lot further than we realize, really. So I think,
and it doesn't even have to be about fashion. Like, if you just go up to someone and say, oh my gosh, you were so helpful you were so helpful today, or just making small talk, because it just, and I know this is for, a fashion podcast, but I mean, I think it's important, just like a psychology, like the psychology around what makes people confident.
Right. This is about the psychology of it. That's why we always ask the question, why don't we dress for dinner anymore? Because we're looking at the psychology of how people express themselves through fashion really tells you a lot about person. People don't realize how important their clothing is. And Melissa and I have said this many times on our podcast, that the first thing you communicate is not opening your mouth at all. It's when you walk into the room and people see you. And what's the first thing they see is the way you're dressed. So that's your initial communication. If I'm walking into a room with a red dress and red lipstick, you know that I'm here to make a statement. I am not a background girl.
But if you are not.
But if I'm walking in, with like a little brown outfit and just no makeup and kind of sitting in the corner, you're going to get the message that, she probably doesn't want to be approached. She just is kind of bashful or whatever. So that is the first statement that you make to anybody, is really through your clothing. And so,
and not everyone wants to be, center of a lot of introverted people. But I think still, having a good fit is like the key to looking great. And anyone can have an outfit that fits them well, especially with tailoring.
Absolutely. And we've talked about that too, that you can buy something, like you said, very inexpensive, take it to the tailor and have it fit to your body, and it can look better than a $500 item. And I've given this example before. I have a suit that I bought at H&M. It's a gray suit. And I think I paid for the 3 pieces. It's got like a bustier piece, a skirt, and a jacket. And it's like a menswear looking jacket. I think I paid for the whole suit $150, right? I paid about $50 more for alterations. And I cannot tell you how many people have come up to me, not only complimented the outfit, but asked me what designer I bought it from. And when I tell them H&M, they're like, "That's from H&M?" And I go, yeah, they can't believe it because of the way it fit to my body. And it's decent fabric. It's not like a, cheap looking fabric. It's a decent looking fabric.
Yeah, it's fine. And they're doing better with sustainability. So I always try to keep in mind, keep that in mind when shopping.
But it's just to give an example of how much the tailoring really matters. So you don't have to spend a lot of money. Bottom line, you could buy something very inexpensive, pay a little bit more for the tailoring, and it'll be equivalent to maybe something that you would have bought, at a higher priced store, but still may not have fit you as well. So your message of the importance of tailoring is a very helpful one as well, too. So thank you, my friend, for coming on our show today.
Oh, thank you so much.
I'd hire you in a minute, and I would pay you to be a stylist.
No, let's do a GoFundMe, and then we'll just call it a day.
We should. We're going to have a GoFundMe. Pay Katie the stylist. She deserves.
Oh my God. You guys are awesome.
Thank you for your fabulous style. I love seeing you. I love talking to you. You're always a ray of sunshine. You're one of the people I always gravitate to at our events because you actually talk.
It was great meeting you.
Too much.
Yeah.
It was so great meeting you. It was a pleasure to be on here. Yeah. And we'll talk soon, and I'll see you, Teddi, hopefully sooner than later.
I'm sure, Dal. Okay, thank you so much.
Oh, wait.
Bye.
What?
Why don't we just for dinner anymore?
I don't know, Melissa. Why don't we?
Beats me.